Hello everyone, welcome aboard. So again, we have brought to you the new session of the Hindu Daily Current Affairs, and today we will be discussing about the September 28th current affairs. That means today, and this session has been brought to you by Himalai IAS. So let's get started. So first few things which we have seen in today's newspaper is the right to government aid is not a fundamental right. That has been said by Supreme Court. So this is a polity topic. We will look at it in detail. Words and deeds. This is about the Prime Minister's speech which he has given at the UN General Assembly. And then, of course, an article about Quad. So we have seen that the Hindu is, following this story daily, and we have seen questions coming in the past question papers about the Quad. So let's take a look at the first question or the first news item today. The right to government aid is not the fundamental right as observed by Supreme Court. So first thing, when you'll be reading the subject polity for your prelims, there will be chapter called fundamental right, and in the mains it comes in GS paper 2. Okay, so fundamental rights are basic rights which have been provided by the Indian Constitution to the people. Okay, so there is a fundamental right in Article 30, which says that the minorities, religious or linguistic minorities, they have right to create and administer their own educational institutions. But that does not mean that they have the right to get the grant. That's what this observation means. Okay. So fundamental rights are they have been spreaded in the constitution in chapter 3 or part 3, article 14 to 18. They are called as right to equality. Right to freedom is 19 to 22. Right against exploitation is 23 and 24. Right to freedom of religion is 25 to 28. Cultural and educational rights is 29 to 30. And the right to constitutional remedies is 32 to 35. So here in cultural and educational right, there is a right that minorities, religious or linguistic, they can create and administer their own institutions, but they do not have the right to the grant. See what happens if your fundamental right gets violated. That's the difference, and that's why they are so special. You have the right to move to the court if these rights are taken away. They cannot be even taken away by the government or legislature. They are guaranteed by the constitution. That's why they are very, very significant. Okay, so this belongs to polity, and that's why it's relevant for the UPSC exam. Then next question. So this is from the speech which Prime Minister gave in UN General Assembly. So United Nations have a General Assembly where all the countries which are part of the United Nations organization, they come here. Okay, so these are few lines which you can use while writing your answers, or writing anything else, like world grows when India grows. Why? We are, the second largest populous country of the world, and maybe by 2027 we will become the largest country of the world. We have contributed immensely during this COVID-19 problem towards the vaccine contribution in terms of pharmaceutical. Also, we have a target to achieve 450 gigawatt of renewable energy by 2030. It's a big target, and it will contribute to the cause of climate change. Also, we have sustainable development goals like poverty elevation, which is uh, SDG 1. If we can remove the poverty in India, then only it can be eliminated from the world. Why? Because we have highest number of people living below poverty line in absolute terms. Okay, we are the largest democracy of the world, and our society, if you see, we are very diverse in terms of society, religion, geography. We are a pluralistic country. There are many people who are having different views and opinions, and we all live together. It's inclusive, means we don't leave anyone behind. We have taken everybody in our development journey, and equity means we try to benefit every section of the society. Okay, so these are the good words which were used by the Prime Minister. You can use it whenever you are writing about India in your general studies answers or in your essay topics. Then again, the next article is about the Quad and the new alliance which has been created. Australia, UK, and US. You can call it AUKUS, right? So let's take a look. So this first in-person means till now all the Quad meetings were happening virtually. This is the first in-person Quad summit which has happened in Washington. So this is the first fact which you must remember. Okay, in 2021. Now see, Quad has Australia, India, Japan, and US, and AUKUS has a US, Australia, and UK. So if you see, 50% of Quad is already present as 75% or like 66% in the AUKUS. So that's the challenge. Like, was there a need for this? So this article tries to tell you that, see, Quad is not a security alliance. India has been very reluctant in having any security arrangement for Quad. That's why they have gone through this one. Okay, so Quad will not become a military alliance. That's very clear. Why? Because we also had a Malabar exercise, which happens between India, US, Japan, and Australia as well. Like, same countries were doing this military exercise, but still we said that has nothing to do with the Quad. Okay, so also Quad has like some sort of ambiguous purposes as well, to maintain the freedom of navigation and trade in the Indo-Pacific region. So but it doesn't say that, okay, if somebody tries to disrupt that freedom of navigation, then what they are going to do? Will there be a military action? So that's not there in Quad. That's why this thing has come. Okay, also it says that already we must try to increase our economic engagement as well in the Asia Pacific region. For example, the ASEAN countries, okay, ASEAN countries were trying to finalize a multilateral trade agreement, which is called a Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, RCEP, and India opted out of it. So that was because of our good reasons, but still, if we do not get engaged, then how we can contribute positively, and we can maintain the strategic balance of India in the region. So these are some goods and bads about Quad as well as AUKUS. We have seen it in the news, and it will keep continuing in the news. Now, next two articles, one is about the high water, means this is about the disaster management, and next is about the regional diversity. So high water is nothing, it's about a cyclone which is hitting the east coast of India. You can look at it from the disaster management point of view, which is part of GS paper 3. Cyclones, they're part of the geography, physical geography. In the climatology, you'll be reading it, and that comes in GS paper 1. So India must create a social safety net. See, what is social safety net? Social safety net is like, if you die or if there is a disruption in the economic things, then also you can get paid. You have access to PF, you have access to insurance. These things are called social safety net. Why they are needed? Because see, poor and underprivileged people, they are the most affected people by these sort of disasters. So if this cyclonic storm comes, the most vulnerable section of the society are going to be the poor people who will be affected by it, and they must have access to social safety net in order to get out of it. Okay, so the name of this new cyclone which we are discussing here is Gulab. It's supposed to hit the east coast of India. We are going to need like things like food, shelter, and healthcare support. Also, see, this is not just one. Because of climate change, we have seen that frequency of cyclone has increased. Also, the Indian Ocean is very popular for cyclones. 7% of the world cyclonic storm, they are formed in the Indian Ocean as well itself. We have very dense population. So any loss will be huge in comparison to the other parts of the world. And that's why we should try to create a mechanism where we can provide a social safety net to the vulnerable sections of the society. Then next article was about measuring regional diversity, but basically what our concern is a scheme it talks about. So schemes related to education, they are part of GS paper 2. In current affairs, you have in prelims paper. So the name of scheme is National Institute Ranking Framework. This is a scheme of Ministry of Education for ranking higher educational institutions. So this scheme basically, it ranks the higher education institutions on the basis of 5 parameters and 5 sub parameters. So schemes part of current affairs, please do remember that. Then again, next articles, one is about revitalizing a PMKUSUM scheme and some challenges which we are facing there. And also the next one is about DRDO's new surface to air missile, Akash Prime missile. So let's take a look at that. So PMKUSUM, okay, Kisan Urja Suraksha Utthan Maha Abhiyan. Okay, that's the name of this scheme. You can read it because see, it tries to provide renewable energy. So it belongs to EVS GS Paper 3. So basically, this scheme is targeted towards solar pump adoption. So what we will do, the government will be providing the solar pumps to the farmers, which they can use for irrigation. Okay. So this adoption of solar pumps by the farmers will give them access to the solar power, which they can use for irrigation purpose. It will reduce the burden of subsidy, because when they use the diesel engine sets for the same purpose of irrigation, that fuel which is used by them, that has to be provided on a subsidized cost by the government. It adds burden to the the government finances, and it will also help to achieve the environmental goal of decarbonizing, means reducing the carbon emission from agriculture. Okay, what are the some barriers in success of this scheme? So first thing is off grid. See, grid connected are solar pumps is something which are connected to your the wire, transmission wires, so that electricity can be stored and they can be utilized. Off grid solar pump is where you will store the solar energy in a battery and you can only use it by yourself. So this off grid solar pump, they are short of targets. We targeted about 2 million, but still we have installed around 20-30,000 only. Then there is limited awareness among the farmers about this scheme, and also there is some initial amount which is supposed to be paid by the farmers. And sometimes, as you know about the plight of the Indian farmer, that he is unable to pay that amount, and that's why he cannot take the benefit of this scheme. Again, another challenge is only very few states have initiated the tenders for PM-KUSUM scheme. Not all the states are doing it, so the benefits is not reaching to all the people in India. What is the way forward? So first, this scheme was supposed to be in operation till 2022. So first we can extend the timeline. Next, we need to create a level playing field for distributed solar plants. That means whenever anybody can generate solar energy, he should be able to sell it to the government. He can earn some money. So that way you can incentivize this system and it will promote it among other. Then we need interdepartmental coordination, as in, see, you cannot use agricultural land for a non-agricultural purpose. That's a law. And if you want to do it for even solar energy, you have to take permission from the government department. Now, for promoting this scheme, you have to have the coordination that for this purpose, the validation as well as the approval has to go faster. Then the farmers who cannot provide the money upfront for taking the benefit of this scheme, they should be provided with some financing solutions. Also, we must try to come up with the grid connected solar plants where the stored solar energy can be sent to other people or can be easily utilized. Next article today, which is important for us, is Akash Prime Missile. So that relates to defense technology in the prelims. And anyway, science and technology is part of GS Paper 3. So Akash is also, we know that DRDO has developed it. Surface to air Akash missile. It was a part of integrated guided missile program. Very important topic for your prelims. Now we have upgraded it. How we have enhanced it by active RF seeker. This is a radio frequency seeker. We log the target and it will have improved accuracy. Also, this missile can perform better at low temperature and higher altitude regions. We all know that the type of relations as of now we have at border with Chinese, so definitely that will come very handy. Next article today, it is about the Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission, which is being launched by the Prime Minister. So it will issue a health ID for every citizen, and it will connect to the digital health solutions of the hospital across the country. Apart from that, the article also mentions another current affairs scheme, which is E-Sanjeevani mission. E-Sanjeevani is again a scheme where remote consultation. So suppose somebody is in Karnataka and he wants to get some consultation from AIMS, Delhi. So through telemedicine, they can get consultations. Actually, this enhancing the telemedicine access and providing the health solution to different parts of the country digitally. That is the most important target of the Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission. Then the last article of today talks about the foreign trade policy, which the government has decided to extend till March 2022. What is foreign trade policy? How we are going to trade with the foreign countries? What should be our targets in doing that? That's what is decided by. So we had this policy in for the period of 2015 to 2020, 2015 to 2020, but because of COVID things, we couldn't come up with a new policy, and we have just decided to extend the same policy for the March 2022. So it provides guidelines for enhancing our exports. It wants to push the economic growth through enhanced trade, and it wants to focus on creating more and more jobs. So that was all for today's current affairs session, guys. Hope all of you have liked the session. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And we'll be back soon with the next lecture of current affairs. Thanks a lot.